Hello there and welcome to Namident Academy. Today, I would like us to discuss about an issue in academia that people or we the academics don't usually open up for discussion. It is about the well-being of us, the researchers, or the well-being in this discussion of the PhD students, or the mental health of the PhD students. Before we dive in deeply in this discussion, I would like to remind you, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do so to press the subscription channel to be able to see my future videos. So, PhD student or doctorate student in general are facing different type of problem through their academic development. And over a decade in graduate school, I have observed developing trend in this particular area. Some of my colleagues and some of those I know who started PhD were not able to finish it. For some, they drop it. For some, they change institution and then continue with it. For some, after more than 5 years or 6 years, they have to change supervisors and start everything afresh. For some, sadly enough, they choose to leave the world altogether and committed suicide. And this story is across the globe as we see and hear. And for some, they decided to kill all those people involved in their suffering. In the office, they shoot their supervisors, their dean, the secretary, and ended up shooting themselves. But lucky enough, they've not died. And we have seen these stories across different countries. So I ask myself, we are into this research to make a world better place. Then what caused us, the researchers, being at the worst case scenario, up to the limit of taking our own lives or the life of those accompanying us in the journey? Well, upon deep thinking in this aspect, we realize that there is a problem, in-depth problem, and then this problem range in different aspects. So in this video, I'll try to give an overview of the problems that PhD students are facing. And then in future videos, we are going to tackle each factor one after the other to look at possible solution in order to make this journey of PhD or research journey very rewarding, very entertaining for the researchers to be able to join the process of research. So we ask, is PhD really important? And that PhD is very important. Especially the PhD students are very important. When you look around the world, more than half of research is being conducted by PhD students. Yes, more than half of research publication, research finding are being conducted by doctorate students. And these are very important for the future of knowledge because they are those people who are creating the new knowledge and they contribute to the society's future in all aspects of academics and all aspects of our life. Let's look around us. The internet that you are using to watch this video was as a result of researcher in the STEM who tried to create a form of communication so that scientists or physicists can exchange ideas. That's the beginning of internet. And then by years, it gets in industry, and now everybody is using it. So that shows a bit in the importance of research and PhD. So if PhD or if doctorate students or doctorate candidates cannot complete their research, then we have problem with regard to knowledge labor market. Yes, as you may know, in most universities and researchers, for a person to be accepted as assistant professor or a lecturer, the minimum requirement is PhD. And hence, there will be shortage of lecturers and assistant professors in the university because of lack of fresh doctorate graduates. This is also going to affect the research productivities. The funding that is given to the universities to conduct research. The universities are going to find it difficult to get people who are going to do that research if the well-being of doctor students is not taken serious by themselves and those in administration. And at large, the economy and the society is going to suffer. As we see around us with the emerging of technologies in medicine, in computing, in semiconductors, and all aspects, including agriculture and finance. It is through this research that is shaping the world. And if almost 47 of these doctorate students are being regarded as depressed, it means that they cannot be able to finish their education, and hence it's going to affect us in the long run. According to Levecque et al. 2017, as many as 32% of PhD candidates investigated are at risk of developing or at risk of having or developing common psychiatric disorders. So, what are the causes of this depression, stress, mental disorder, psychiatric problem? So, according to many researchers and from my personal observation, the stressor of most PhDs can be classified into 3 different domains. I'm using well-being here to generalize both the health aspect, the mental problem or mental aspect, the physical aspect, and every aspect of the life of a PhD student. So we have what we call the well-being predictors. These are the factors that, when achieved, or that shows how well-being is a researcher or a PhD or a doctorate student. And there is another aspect that is called the well-being domain, which merely states that domain of well-being, where well-being of a researcher can be determined. And another aspect is the challenges of a PhD or doctorate student. So all these 3 categories are almost the same. It depends on how the perspective we are looking from. For the well-being predictors, it states that when you have supervision relationship the relationship between a PhD student or a PhD candidate with his or her supervisors or advisor can clearly predict the well-being of the candidate. The second aspect is the finances. The money, income, and the expenditure of the PhD candidate also predict the well-being of the PhD candidate. The third one is the career. Also predicts. Many PhDs are thinking of their future perspective. Not they don't know that the job market, but because we are almost in a fluctuating environment nowadays, things are changing. And so for some PhD candidates who don't have already work or permanent job, this aspect of a career is also a predictor of their well-being. And the fourth one is the health of the PhD candidate himself, the internal health, not the external factors. Yeah. And then the academic and the research progress. How the research is going. Is it going as planned or otherwise? Also predict the PhD candidate's well-being. And finally, the social support. Is the person being surrounded by his family, by good friends, by other support, that the society support, that the community support? Is the person feeling lonely? All these aspects are what we call the PhD student or a researcher well-being predictors. And we come to the well-being domain. We have 7 well-being domains according to Marias et al. 2018. And does it career, research, health, and private life. They are the domain that we look into to see how the person is faring. And then we have the supervision, also the social support, the facilities that is available to the researcher to research, and finally the university. The university play a strong role in the well-being of any PhD candidate. And the final category is the challenges that PhDs are facing or doctorate students are facing in general. The first thing is the general working practice, domain-specific expertise. Is the person working in the area that he has a strong expert, or is working in a place in the area that he is developing, is learning a lot to be expert in? Also count the challenges he might face, he or she will face in doing his PhD or her doing a PhD. Supervision and scholarly community also count as challenge to some PhD or doctorate student or candidate. The personal event, or what some call personal lives. And finally, project-related problems. So, as we can all see, these are the categories, the factors that affect a PhD well-being, is mental state. And hence, in our future videos, we are trying to tackle them one after the other, in order for us to be able to know whether we are being depressed or not, and if any aspect of this, for example, the supervision aspect, are we getting enough supervision or guidance? Are we having an autocratic supervisor, or I don't care supervisor? If we have an autocratic or I don't care supervisor, how can we handle it? Okay, that one I will gonna explain in our future videos. We are going to look at the work environment. Is the work being, are you being bombarded by a lot of work? Unrealistic university expectation, unrealistic departmental expectation affect a lot of PhD students. And how can you handle those things? Are you taking care of your body? Are you having enough exercises? Do you have enough sleep? Do you have a good time with your loved ones and friends? Do you spend time to rest? All these aspects we are going to tackle one after the other in our future videos. I believe research or academics and PhD period is supposed to be an interesting aspect of one's life. It is a very challenging, yes, but does not have to have an impact on one's health in a very negative way, to the limit of a person thinking of taking away his life. It's not necessary for everybody to get PhDs. I have seen my colleague who have a concrete reason of leaving a graduate school because they have achieved their personal agenda that they set for themselves through their masters. And they are very expert in their area of expertise. And they say, no, I am going to concentrate and go to industry and make money. And they leave the graduate school happily, not as a result of any challenges, but as a result of seeing opportunity outside the academia that they want to capitalize and take it. If that's so, then that is a very excellent exit and very good that they will never and ever regret leaving the academia. And I've seen them, they are very happy. But if you decide to remain in the graduate school and to continue to pursue your PhD, then you have to be ready to try to attempt and resolve every challenge that you might come. And this is what these videos and subsequent videos will try to address. A way, a strategy that you can adopt, no matter how difficult your department might be, no matter how difficult your supervisor might be, and no matter how the workload that you have, you can be able to successfully complete that research and achieve your agenda. It has to do with some small adjustment and understanding the system you are in. And for those who are still undergraduate watching me, or they are trying to enter into graduate school, this will be an advice for you to look at before you choose university or a supervisor or a course, to look at those things that I'm going to explain in future so that you can be able to guide yourself and have a peaceful stay in the graduate school. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and I hope you enjoyed this general overview of the health or well-being of a PhD or researcher. And in our future videos in this series, we are going to tackle supervision relationship between a graduate student and his supervisor. We are going to tackle career. We are going to tackle the finances as a source of stress. We are going to tackle the university as a source of stress, the departmental culture, the personal well-being, the personal health, and we are going to also talk finally about the social support one needs to be able to successfully complete its PhD. Thank you for your time and attention, and I hope to see you next time. If you have not subscribed to this video, please do well to subscribe. Goodbye.